Hello, this is a project called the MiniDCC. It's a digital command control system for model railroading. And the goal of this project was we wanted to build a handheld unit or small footprint unit for controlling the model trains that are run on digital command control, DCC. And basically the guts of the system is this printed circuit board. So here we have a finished printed circuit board that shows the etch pattern. It shows all the component layouts and all the soldering points. So this is a newer version. This is the 16F 1938 chip, which is like a microprocessor. Basically, you put the code in there, you write a code with a program, and then you store it onto this chip. What's nice about this particular model of board is that this through that connector that's there, this is just a few limited parts on this board. Through the connector, you can end up connecting it with a wire back to your computer, and this wire is something like this. There, you'll see here just a little USB wire. You buy this for about $5 or $6 on eBay. It has these pins and such, and you connect it to that board, to one of these connectors here, and that'll connect to your computer. And basically you can update the firmware. So when there's options, if people say, oh, I want an option that does different things on the board or whatever, or maybe there's a bug in the code that has to be rewritten. So what's neat is that even if you're hundreds of miles away, you can still connect to the server using that cable, connect to your PC, and update this chip. Whereas the other version I'll show you later, it's the 1.5. That one is a smaller chip, and that one doesn't allow you to program online. So basically, what you see here is this on the right side is the DCC circuit board, the brains of the operation here with, like I said, this CPU chip. And on the left side here is the booster whole section. It's a tiny little guy, and you can actually cut. There's a dotted line there, so you can cut that and separate that board, which is, you can see it on this. This is a fully assembled little booster, and then you, like I said, you have the bar connectors. You add these little wires, then you can connect them back. In this case, this is the board that it was cut from. So you can see there's connectors along the edge here, and this circuit board is attached to a 4x20 LCD screen. And you see how you can put them in plastic cases. You can build. What's nice about the project is you can buy any plastic box you want to put in on a wood panel or at the layout or whatever. So it's very flexible of how you want to mount it. This is actually a 4x4 matrix keyboard, which is used for operations. I'll take this out. I'll flip this over, give you an idea what that looks like. See, so here's the 4x20 LCD screen, and here's a keypad. So you can buy these at the economical electronics store. This is an old version, so it's not too pretty. Here's another version here. This one here, which is a little bit nicer. This keypad. See, and this is another type of box that you can buy from the electronics store. This one uses a 2x16 LCD, but it's large characters. So that's what the display looks like. This is again, you can attach whatever color LCDs you want. This one is a greenish background, black writing on a greenish background, and this one that was assembled together is a white lettering on a blue background, and then you adjust the brightness of what you like. Okay, now this is the version 2.0, which is I hot glued it into this small little case, so everything is all installed in there. Then this is a ribbon cable that comes back. This is just in the way. So you see, if I flip this over, it'll end up being like the other unit. Here's your LCD screen, here's your keypad, and here drill some holes if you wanted to adjust. Because one option is to when you want to speed up the trains, originally you use this keypad. The way it works is they work on rows. So you have 4 rows. You can operate 4 locomotives at the same time. So the first button would be speed up, speed down, direction, and then function 0 to turn it on or off. So, and then that would be the next train: speed up, speed down, direction, function 0. Then third row and the fourth row. But with the newer chip, we're able to add pots, like you'll see down here, potentiometers, again, you can attach them to this box the way you want them there. In this case, I fit it all like that. You can drill some holes on the side, you know, like in this case, and attach it there. You can take a plastic box like that and align it however you want, because the connectors, you know, you'll wire them up and they'll come up to these two bars here. There's a couple of connectors in the back here for the potentiometers, and I'll show you how that's all wired up. So there's some of that flexibility, even for the LCD screen. In this case, see, this is the board. The LCD screen is attached to this this bus, these pins right here. So let's say you decide you're going to use a 4x20 display like this one. You know, you can wire it up that you can just snap this guy into there, and that'll be it. Or you could say, look, I want this you know, somewhere else on my board, wherever, and then I want the LCD somewhere else, and then you'll just use a cable to attach this to that one, straight through cable. So same thing for the keypad. You know, you can have in this case, I have this cable running here. In this version 1.5, which I'll talk about in a minute, here's a little 4x4 keypad that if you flip over, you see this is how so it's all assembled here. Now you have this whole unit right here, all independent. Everything's working with all the buttons and so forth. You have a power connector here, and then the track goes there. But if you wanted to have the keypad separate, you could get a little flexible keyboard, a little wire like this, and then attach it to the connector underneath, and then you know, past it would go there, and then you could just put the key, you know, attached to a keypad. Like I said, sorry about the moving camera. See, here's the other connector. The other end would go there, and you could put it wherever you want. Again, the flexibility. So yeah, getting back to now, this is the version 1.5. This version is a smaller CPU. I have a bunch of these boards that I made, because you have to place a minimum order when you order the printed circuit board. So I have a few of these boards available to purchase. This one has a smaller 16F628 CPU, I believe it is, and this one, the only difference is you can't connect it online to update it. So you would have to let's say mount that chip in a socket where you can pull it out. If you wanted to have it upgraded, you would have to send the chip back to me. I would upgrade the OS if there's any change, but really there's, you know, it's all been you know, we've maximized everything on it there. I don't think there's anything extra we'll want to do. I'll show you a little bit about operations later. So but you could connect one pot, so you could have one of the 4 trains running on a pot that you can adjust instead of using the buttons. Okay, so this is see, this is again a different box of what that looks like, and this is the version 2, which is the same version as what you see here, this keypad and all that green stuff. It's just that I've also attached the knobs. So I'll give you a little idea of how this operates. Okay. What you see here in the display is the first 3 characters are the address of the first locomotive. Then that function, that little asterisk you see there, that's to tell you the direction. Sorry, to tell you if the function 0 is on. Then it's the next 3 is the next locomotive number 2 address, whether its function is on. The third locomotive, it's whether its function 0 is on, and the fourth locomotive, whether its function is 0 is on. Then down here you have the next 3 letters over here, numbers, is the speed of the locomotive and its direction. So the speed of locomotive 2, its direction, speed of locomotive 3, its direction, and so forth. So as I adjust, let's say, this top pot, I'll just switch hands here. When I turn this guy, so you see the speed will increment. Now, depending on how you adjusted, I'll turn it all the way to the max. It's 15. So this is, you know, because in the DCC you have different speed steps. I believe it's 16, there's low, medium, and high. So I think it's 16, 32, and 128 speed steps. So if I turn the next pot, let's see, we'll go all the way. Yeah, see, this will go 127, which is 0 is also a step. So in this case, 128. And then the next one is set as 128 speed steps. And I believe the third one is set 128 speed steps, yeah. So that's the 4 pots there. And these pots are special pots, whereas if you press down on them, it'll change the direction. So you'll see next to number 15 there, the arrow is going to change when I press down. So I'll change that direction. The second locomotive, I'll change his direction. Third, change his direction. The fourth, his direction. So that's how you would, at a glance, you would see the 4 locomotives and their direction and how fast they're going. And if you go to the keypad here, you'll be able to turn this function on. So let's say this first guy, I'll press. You see next to 34, it went to a dash. So that's telling you the function 0 is off. The second locomotive, I'll change the function 0 off. Third, I'll change the function 0 off. And fourth. That's it. So what's happening, instead of using this button as the speed up and speed down of the first locomotive, I'm using that first pot, and same as you continue. The second train, second pot, third train, third pot, fourth train. So and the way I wired this guy up is this is the power supply to run this guy. It's a 12-volt power supply, 1 amp, and then the track, you'll connect it to this guy. Again, you can connect it any way you want. In this case, see, this is what the way I'm doing it inside is, this is the power connector. I'm actually bringing it down to the bottom of the case, and then you extend it there. And then this is the track connector with the 2 screws. You just pass the wires in, and you can put them down to the bottom of the case and attach whatever type of connector, change however you want it. Again, cut the board off, have one at the layout, one not. In the case of this version, which is based on another booster, you can see over here, the booster is separate, and the way this one was designed is for a telephone type jack connection there. So then you use this long extension wire, goes on the floor. It's a telephone type plug, and it plugs into the base unit. So now this one is you can walk around the layout, but you have it tethered to the layout, to the booster. So the track is connected at the other end. The only thing that's bringing here is the DCC command and the power for the LCD and all the controls. So this is basically the same thing. In this case, you'll see the first train is address 35, the second is address 34, the second address, the locomotive is 255, and the last locomotive is 58. Okay, so the next thing I'll talk about is the operations screen, because this is for locomotive screen, and what I'll do is I'll talk about the turnouts and the functions. So we'll pause for a second.